fouls and that foul trouble with him?
I think more than anything, you have to let him experience it, because he has to go past the limit and then let's reel you in, as opposed to someone who you're always trying to turn up to get to a limit. I have no problem with Dylan's fouls. I mean, I don't want him to be in foul trouble, but listen, when you go to block shots, when you go vertical 2 feet above the rim, you're putting yourself in jeopardy. So, any reaching, those type of things, those are the ones that are teachable. But him with the verticality and the physicality, we're gonna live with that right now, so he can learn where his line is at.
And then with Domas, just under 20 minutes there, is he on a minutes restriction, or is that just what you want to go with?
No, he's just coming back. This is just game 2. I mean, it's a process. That's all. Yeah.
Doug, during the 4-game winning streak, you guys were like as I mentioned the other day, number 1 in the league in 3-point shooting, over 46%.
Yeah.
Cooled off a little bit tonight. Was there any difference in like the looks you guys were getting, or just kind of one of those make or miss things?
I would have to go back and look at the film. I mean, 35% for us, but we ultimately want to get towards that 40 number, 31. But, there was some red, switching, we call it red, but there was some switching. So 1 through 5, keeping people in front of you. Big guy was just in the lane the whole time. So, part of us generating those shots is the ability to collapse the defense. And, if he's just sitting in there the whole time, that can be difficult, because there's not the sense of urgency for them that we've created a 2v1, especially if you don't roll. So we got to set those screens, make sure the screens are set, create the advantage with the guard, roll extremely hard that puts pressure on him for them to shrink the defense and kick it out. Those were the shots that we were getting that, if I look at the film, we probably didn't generate enough of those tonight.
Doug, we all season we talked about the log jam at the guard position.
Yeah.
But with Dylan's play as of late, is it kind of a good thing or are you kind of getting a slight log jam with the bigs?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, these are good problems to have, but his rim protection, his activity, his contesting, shots, especially sometimes if we're not containing people off the dribble, that he's back there to help you out. But now the guard's got to crash back at the same time and veer off into the opposite big. But his activity is high level, and that's what we want. And the rebounding, what he end up with tonight? 10, 2 offensive, but 6 fouls. Like, he's not leaving anything on the board, that's for sure.
Doug, building off of that, what went into the decision to end with Dylan in the final lineup compared to Domas?
Well, I think more than anything is the ability sometimes to switch 1 through 5. And, his activity and rebounding, clinging is just an absolute monster down there. So you got to make sure that, you're contesting at the rim, like those 2 verticalities against Sharp. Like, it's not many people in the league that can do that type of thing. But he is there. So, just trying to keep people in front of us and then rebound the basketball, and he was rebounding at a high level.
Second one for you was Malik pointed towards the energy and the difference in tonight's game. Would you agree with that? Yeah,
a bit. I thought the energy changed when Dylan went in the game in the first quarter, actually. And, that's unfortunate, because that's been one of the keys of what we've done is we've brought a level of physicality, which I talked about pregame, and joy. And that is kind of tied to the energy piece. And it wasn't there. It was there in moments, but it wasn't there at the consistency that it has been in, even in some of the losses, the wins for sure, but even in some of those losses.
Doug, I know you don't love to talk about offense, but 36 assists on Friday, 29 tonight, and both games, all 10 guys who stepped on the floor had an assist.
Yeah.
Are they starting to get it a little bit? And, you know, I know you love to say sharing is caring.
Yeah. You know, it's assists and the movement of the basketball shows that you care about your teammate, because an advantage has been created, and there you are. I'm aware of the fact that you're there because there's two people in front of me. So where's the open guy? And they have to get the basketball. And if they're not ready to shoot it, or there's a really hard closeout, then we need to go again, and then we need to swing it. Those type of things, it's the ball has energy. And when it happens, it's, first of all, it's beautiful. So let's say that. But also, there's an energy and a vibe with it that is an absolute must for this game. This game was created to play that way. And when it's not, it's A, not fun to watch, B, not fun to play. And I'd even add, it ain't fun to coach it either. You know, I want that ball moving around. I want people to create advantage. I want you to care about your teammate and move the ball, and not only move the ball, on time, on target passes. Like, pass it to your teammate like you care about them, and I want you to get this bucket. I want us to get this bucket. So, yeah.
What have you thought of Dylan's growth as a finisher around the basket, and how much are you encouraging him to take those shots?
I mean, he does a lot of work, man. You know, Max down in the G League has worked with him. GA up here has worked with him. They do a really good job at making sure that he gets his finishes around the rim. And, you know, we encourage him to, you know, be aggressive. You know, he understands sometimes he catches it in the pocket. He's a little bit outside of his range, and immediately he's looking around like, who needs this? I'm bringing it to you. And that ability to spray the basketball and is high level, but he's going to get it better and better because the kid works hard. So he works as hard as he plays, which is makes you smile. I say that.
And then Portland's ability to get in the paint, they're one of the best in the league at doing that. What'd you see with that tonight, and where you guys could have slowed them down a little more?
That you know, part of that is the energy. You know, we got to grab, hold, and control. We got to chest drives. I mean, physical chest. And that comes from making sure that your pickup points are higher, that you're meeting them higher on the floor. And we're in our gaps, presenting. Because part of it is, you know, if your arms are down and it looks like there's a gap there, I'm going to test it. But if I'm presenting with my arms out, I look big, you think about it. So as good as these guys are at getting downhill, the next team is number one in the NBA. So we got our work cut out for us. Got to sit down and